Hey everybody, it's me, John Ward, and welcome back to another Dark Park Film Reviews. And today we do have a review. This will be a non-spoiler review for Beetlejuice. Maybe down the road, there'll be one that does have spoilers, but this is just my opinion on the film itself without getting really into the story. So the other night, I went with two friends of mine, my two buddies. I went with Philip, OGP, and with Matt. And we went to go see Beetlejuice. And I'm going to add some links down below because we were all hanging out. So we went to Zia Records. And so I'm going to add the link to that, which was our video pickups. But we talk a lot about going to see Beetlejuice, and how excited we are. Then I'm going to attach a link below, which is our rant about how much we disliked Beetlejuice afterwards. So I hated this movie. I have to be completely honest. We gave our reviews, and OGP and Matt were a lot nicer than me. I originally gave it like 1.5, and then I changed it to 2 stars, and that's out of 10. And I'll let you see Philip's video to find out the other 2 reviews. I really hated this movie. I was willing to give it more of a chance, I think, than OGP and Matt. At the beginning, it seemed like I think they didn't like it, and I was willing to give the film more of a chance. But to me, a bad sign of this was, if you remember the beginning credits for the original Beetlejuice, it had the Beetlejuice theme. The camera was kind of gliding through the town, and it was this exciting trip through this town and the music playing. When this started, and it was the same way, it started with the camera going through this town with the credits and the theme playing. Man, did the camera seem to be moving slow. And I'm just like, why is this not faster? Why is this so slow? Why is the camera moving at a snail's pace through the beginning of this film? And that is how the rest of the movie played out for me. I thought this thing was slow as fuck. I, like I said, I think I was more willing to give this a chance than maybe the other 2 guys. But, and I'm a big Tim Burton fan. I mean, recently I haven't seen, I think probably one of the last films I saw from him really was Planet of the Apes, which I liked. But then I just kind of, no, it'd be Dark Shadows. Probably Dark Shadows might have been the last one I saw, at least in the theater. I know I've seen Alice in Wonderland, but I didn't see the sequel. I didn't see Big Fish. So pretty much after Dark Shadows, I'm going to say it's been very hit and miss for me. Tim Burton has always had, I think, a second act problem. He seems to be fine with his first act and third, and there always seems to be like a second act missing. And so it will literally just jump from the first act to the third. In this, in Beetlejuice, man, it's around an hour and 45 minutes. It feels like 3 hours. He definitely has the 3-act structure, and man, does he play off that 3-act structure. I will say this: the performances are fine. There's nothing wrong with the performances. I really wish Jeffrey Jones wasn't such a fucker, because he was a great addition to the Tim Burton cast, like his ensemble cast that he always works with. And I, of course, loved him in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I think that he was the only good thing in Howard the Duck. And one of my in my top 5 is the film Ed Wood by Tim Burton, and he plays Criswell. But if you want to learn more of why he's not in this film and in other movies, there are YouTube videos about it. Let's just say that he probably will not be working in Hollywood anytime soon, because of past actions. But his character is still in the movie. And this isn't, a spoiler or anything, as it's in the trailer, but they're basically, our cast is at the old house because of his passing, and they're there for the funeral. It's, but I just, I felt Tim Burton was not into this. I felt that his directing was very boring. It seemed like he was directing a TV show. It seemed like he was directing a play. It felt like the creativity to do this was just removed from him. There's no interesting camera angles, really. There's no interesting editing. There's no real interesting animation. There's Catherine O'Hara, and I'm going to be jumping all over the place here as I think of stuff. Catherine O'Hara is why I made this go from a 1.5 to a 2. She's the best thing in this movie. And then I would say Michael Keaton, who looks like he's having a really good time, but he seems low energy. For Beetlejuice, he seems low energy. Catherine O'Hara is very funny, and she's got some of the best lines. And her looks and expressions are very funny. I liked her a lot. Jenna Ortega is very good in this. I like her. So far, I've liked her in everything. I would like for her to replace these entitled snot actresses that are out there, like like Rachel Zegler and what's her face, who's in The Acolyte. Just give everything to Jenna Ortega, and I like what she has to say in interviews. She's a good actress. I just hope that a lot of this just doesn't go to her head. But I liked her in both Scream movies. I liked her in this. I don't think I've seen everything she's done, but I've liked her. So she's good. The problem is, and I leaned over to Philip and said, this is why I hate Stranger Things, is all these movies now focus on the teenagers, and there is so much plot involved with teenagers, just like Ghostbusters Afterlife, just like Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I don't care about the teenagers. I don't. We're coming to see Beetlejuice. We're going to see the Ghostbusters. I just don't care. If you want to see, even with something like It, I liked the first half, which did deal with the teenagers. That's fine. And then the second half wasn't as good with the adults. But now we're going to be getting, like It Origins type of thing, where we're getting a prequel. And I'm also really tired of the Skarsgårds. So that's a whole other thing. But I'm just not interested in these relationships with these teenagers. I don't care that Phoebe is under 18 in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and she can't be a Ghostbuster, so she goes off to have some weird relationship with a ghost. I don't care. Plus, a lot of these plots seem to be the same. A lot of the same plot that was in Frozen Empire is in Beetlejuice, and they just can't seem to get away from these stupid teenage plots when what you want to see is Beetlejuice. And Beetlejuice, I think, from what Matt told me, is he has the same amount of screen time as the original movie, which I think is like 20 minutes. Michael Keaton does seem to be enjoying himself, but maybe because of his age, he just doesn't have that energy. If you watch the trailer for the original Beetlejuice, you have all of this effect stuff. You have all of this animation and claymation, and Beetlejuice coming up from like that table, and he's the huge Beetlejuice and his arms roll out and all that. You don't get any of that type of stuff in this. And the same thing went with like Michael Keaton in The Flash when he came back as Batman. There's just no energy there. And I love Michael Keaton. I love Beetlejuice. I was a supporter of him playing Batman way back in the day when everybody was against him because they're like, we don't want Beetlejuice playing Batman. There was even a petition out there saying that, to sign it, to send to Warner Brothers saying, do not have Michael Keaton play Batman. This is awful. He's Beetlejuice. What are you thinking? And he ended up being, I would probably say, almost everybody's favorite Batman, and still is. And he couldn't even save the Flash. And of course, we know that he's in Batgirl, and nobody will ever see Batgirl. So with him being in Beetlejuice, it's and well, Beetlejuice, and him being Beetlejuice again, it's great seeing him back in these roles, but I wish that they would do something different. I I was still up for Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian. I think that would have been a much better way to go. I think it would have been more entertaining. Look at Jack Frost, the Killer Snowman movies. Hey, and Michael Keaton was in Jack Frost, that drama where he turns into a snowman and his kid is there and all that. But Jack Frost, the Killer Snowman movies, is the first film takes place in that town. The second place, or the second film takes place like in Hawaii or something. And the second film, I think, is just as good as the first film because they did something different. They took Jack Frost, the snowman, and put him someplace different. So instead of just rehashing the first movie, which more or less this is, um, take Beetlejuice and put him someplace different. Put him do the Hawaiian story. That was the plan for like all of these years. For decades, they were going to have Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian. And I know Philip has laughed at me. OGP has laughed at me for saying that. And I think it's true. Do something different. But Michael Keaton, he said he was retiring. He disappeared for a little bit, and then he started coming back in all these movies. And and I found him fine as the Vulture in Spider-Man. I thought that was okay. It's not Vulture from the actual comic books, but it's more realistic. Okay, fine. I liked him in that. It was nice seeing him come back. And it was nice seeing him in a Marvel movie or Sony movie, when he was in DC, when he was Batman. Um, and I still think he is one of the best Bruce Waynes. So it would have been very interesting to see what they would have done with Batman 3 if Tim Burton and Michael Keaton, stayed on board with it. I am also a fan of Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. Is it one of the best ones? No, but I love that ending. I really love that ending, and I would have liked to have seen a second one. I thought Mark Wahlberg was not bad in that. I thought he was pretty good. So I am a Tim Burton fan. Sleepy Hollow I enjoyed. I liked Alice in Wonderland. I do enjoy his movies, but Beetlejuice, I don't know if it was an obligation, but it's so boring. I mean, so boring. And I'll say this much. So with Jennifer Ortega's character, which to me just seems like Wednesday because she's a high schooler and people make fun of her and stuff like that in high school. It just seemed like she was just playing Wednesday all over again because she's just playing the Winona Ryder character from the first Beetlejuice. And their dad is gone, and I won't get too much into that, but we never meet the dad. We never really see the dad. Why do I care about the dad if I've never met him? I don't care about the dad. Is they talk about the dad and we've never met the dad and they keep talking about the dad. And I leaned over to Philip and I went, the dad we've never met. And like I said, I'm trying to make this spoiler free, so I'm not going to say too much about that. And then there's the Winona Ryder's character, the wannabe like husband. Don't care about him. Don't care about him. We really know nothing about him. And Winona Ryder's character, she does have a ghost show, like one of those kind of paranormal hunter type shows. Well, they did that in Ghostbusters. They did that in Ghostbusters too with Dan Aykroyd's character. He had the show. Well, he has the shop, and then Bill Murray had the show. So it's like they're just rehashing stuff over and over and over again. And the music wasn't that interesting. And I'm a huge Danny Elfman Oingo Boingo fan. I've seen Oingo Boingo like 10 times. I saw Danny Elfman live in concert when he performed, when the music was performed for all the Tim Burton movies, and he came out and sang from Nightmare Before Christmas. And I mean, and I have all the soundtracks, multiple versions of his soundtracks. And I even got the Beetlejuice soundtrack because I'm a completist. But I just, God, this film was so, so, so boring that Philip fell asleep and he was snoring, and I had to nudge him to wake him up, which he thought was funny. And he's like, "Was I snoring?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you were." He's like, "Oh, oh wow." Um, Matt Matt even commented that it was boring. I was so edgy that if I wasn't there with friends, I probably would have walked out. I could not sit still. I was like a little kid in my seat because nothing was happening. It, I just wanted to leave, but I had friends there, so I couldn't just get up and leave. So, and I kept hoping that the movie would get better. Now, the sound is good, the visual effects are good, um, all that stuff is good. Like they did a great job on any of the practical effects. They did a great job on the visual effects. They did, you know, um, but the pacing is so bad. I don't know how the editors, and as I'm sure Tim Burton was probably sitting in, could sit there and say, this is a movie that just moves. It just moves, and the pacing is good. No, there are scenes where it's weird. Is they start it, nothing happens, the scene happens, and then they cut it after the scene happens. Like the beginning and the ending are still there when they should have been cut, and to make the film tighter and move faster and keep the pacing going. There's a ton of dialogue with the teenagers. Just don't care. I don't care. Um, and there's nothing like Winona Ryder's character in the first film was interesting. Um, everybody in that movie was interesting. Um, obviously, I'm assuming because of what happened with Alec Baldwin, they're not going to have her back or her back, him back. I'm thinking her because I was about to say Gina Davis. There is also not here, probably too expensive. Um, so their characters are brought up, just like the Jenna Ortega's grandfather is brought up. Catherine O'Hara's husband is brought up. But he's not in the film for bad reasons. But I don't know. God, it's so boring, and it just seemed to last forever. And then we had to sit through like 30 minutes worth of trailers, which is another reason why I don't like going to the movies anymore, because you can just see all those trailers on YouTube. And if your TV is big enough, you just watch them on your TV. I had originally, Philip asked me if I wanted to go see this movie. And I said, well, I have an interest in it, but maybe I'll just wait till streaming. And, because it'd just be on Max, it's Warner Brothers. And he's like, well, no, I'll pay for your ticket. You can go. So we had a really good day. I mean, the three of us, we went to Zia Records, spent a couple hours there, and then we went out to dinner, and then we hit the movie. No, we even snuck in some candy. And then unfortunately had to watch the film. And then we did a rant video after that. In Philip's video, I do say, I think I misspoke and said, fuck Michael Keaton. And that came out wrong because I was so mad at the time, is that it's fuck these movies, but not Michael Keaton. I love Michael Keaton. I will basically see anything with Michael Keaton in it. But it's these movies that Michael Keaton is in can get fucked, not Michael Keaton himself. Stuff like The Flash, which I think the only good thing about The Flash was Supergirl. I find her gorgeous, and I loved her character. If they kept her character that way, I'd love to see a film with just her in it. I would love to see another, if they wanted to do some sort of multiverse movie with having a couple of the different, Batman in it. I'm a big supporter of Batfleck. When people found out that Ben Affleck was going to be Batman, I defended him because he did a film called Hollywoodland where he played Superman, and I thought he did a great job in that. And I'm like, no, give him a shot. He's going to be good. And they had him play the older Batman, which was smart. This maybe if they played off of Michael Keaton's age with Beetlejuice, maybe just he's older now, and the energy's not there, but he's trying to make the energy there. There's nothing really at stake in this film in Beetlejuice. There's nothing that will end the world. There's nothing that it's just not interesting. It's boring. We've seen it before, and they steal stuff directly from other movies that either did it better or the same or worse. So I don't know. I I cannot, and I know the film is making a lot of money. So I guess it's like Alien Romulus and Beetlejuice are doing huge numbers. And I think that's great. Even though I did not think Alien Romulus is the best Alien movie, I want more Alien movies. And they are doing Alien Earth, the TV show for Hulu, but I want more Alien movies in the theater. So I'm glad that it's making this much money because I want more. The director's already talking about AVP, Alien vs. Predator, and I think it's too soon. I think we need to wait, maybe have him give us 2 movies, 3 movies, and then get into that. But okay, fine, I'll take it because I just want more of those movies. Even something like Beetlejuice, I'm glad that it's making a lot of money, and I'm glad that people are liking it. It just didn't work for me. And especially with being a huge Tim Burton fan, being a big, Michael Keaton fan, being a big Danny Elfman fan, um, Jennifer Ortega fan, it just didn't work for me. But I'm glad that people are liking it, and I'm glad that it's making a lot of money, because that means that these types of movies will still get made. And if you've been following me and watching my videos, you know that I'm not woke. I don't like any of that type of stuff. I want Disney to burn to the ground. I do not like anything that they've brought out. That includes Paramount with like Star Trek. And I am glad that Beetlejuice was not one of these movies. It was not a film that has this environmental message or DEI or anything like that. It doesn't put down white people or anything like that. They don't, Winona Ryder's not gender swapped or anything like that. It is a solid film, and I'm glad that it was at least the way that it is. I just thought the film was very boring, and I cannot recommend it. I would say if you're a Beetlejuice fan, wait until streaming and just see it, on Max. Um, I don't even know if it's something I would buy on Blu-ray to just go along with the rest of my Tim Burton movies. Maybe it should have been a different director. Maybe give it to like Terry Gilliam or somebody who would have made stuff more interesting. I mean, God, he directs it's so boring the way he directs it. I mean, it really does feel like he's directing a play. It's just the directing is so boring. Um, but yeah. So that's pretty much my review of Beetlejuice, if you liked it, awesome, great. It just didn't work for me. So 2 out of 10. Normally I do like a 1 to 5 on my videos, but Philip on his was doing 1 to 10. So I gave it a really low review. If I had to do a 1 to 5, I probably would do a 1. I don't want to see it again. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it. I own the soundtrack because I own the other ones. Um, I'm glad Michael Keaton is having this resurgence in all of these movies. But I expected a lot more from Tim Burton. But I don't blame anybody who's in the movie. I mean, that's the writing, the editing, and the directing. But all the actors look like they were having fun and looked like they wanted to be there. And but it just didn't work for me. So, all right, everybody, that's my review for Beetlejuice, and hopefully something better will come along. All right, thanks. Bye.